I'm like, what's going on? And, my boyfriend, my family, they're like, have you ever thought about going on your own? And that's when I'm like, I need to go for it. And I found you guys
And how much you made from it?
like a little over 100 grand.
Well, hello, Miss Karen. How are we doing today?
Good. How are you? It's nice to see you.
Awesome. I know it's been a little bit since we got to chat, but I want to take the time out today just to kind of talk to you about time and how it's been since you joined the program, right? Because obviously what we do is we help people get into social media marketing. And I know that was something that interested you. So I guess just to kind of kick off, tell me a little bit about, you, what made you want to get into social media marketing, where you from, like just tell us a little background.
Yeah. So I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. My parents are from Guatemala. And I went to Florida State for both undergrad and graduate school. I started with the communication program there, thinking I was going to be a news reporter. I don't know, that's what I wanted to do.
Hey.
But then I had some internships, social media internships that I really enjoyed. So I fell into that. And then I wanted to do more Hispanic marketing since I'm here in South Florida and with my, Hispanic background. I got my master's in multicultural marketing.
Oh, so I
Mhm.
mean, this was after that pivot, then this was like something like, hey, look, I'm getting into this. This is where I want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I worked for an agency here in 2019,
Hmm.
and then I still stuck with them while I was getting my master's.
Hmm.
But I just realized, I want to do more Hispanic marketing. They were just hitting mostly personal injury lawyers,
Hmm.
and like I was doing like SEO marketing for them and social media marketing as well. So I got, into my master's and then I found a job in multicultural marketing. And then I just realized I have a master's and they're not giving me full time. Like that was an issue I ran
Very
into.
well.
And I'm like, what's going on? And, my boyfriend, my family, they're like, have you ever thought about going on your own?
Hmm.
And that's when I'm like, I need to go for it. And I found you guys, and you guys were like a real, big help going solo.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, because again, it sounds like where you were, you kind of already had a little bit of experience coming in the door because, not only from school, but then also working with this previous agency. But you wanted to kind of make a pivot to working on stuff that number one, you felt a little bit more passionate about, was a little bit more your niche. But then on top of that, you want to make sure you're actually making your own money, right? Because it sounds like they weren't putting enough food on the table there, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel like you needed help with the most? Like where was it like that the guidance was like, hey, like this, if I got this one or two things, like I'm over the hill, I'm good.
Sales, because I worked at an agency, so we had a sales department. They were taking care of that. So I was just doing the back work and I know how to, manage a lot of things. Like you said, I had this
Mm.
previous experience. So a lot of like understanding the algorithm or Google Analytics, things
Mm.
like that, I already knew.
Yeah.
So it was more, I needed help with sales. Like, how do I talk to people? How do I land deals?
Mhm.
So that's what I was struggling with.
How to find the people, what to say, where to say, how to say it. And
Yeah.
sales is a very, very big part of it. Bottom line, especially with, the way that we go about with teaching stuff inside of the program, the actual do the work part, right? I feel like that's pretty straightforward for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Because what I always like to say about social media marketing is it's not easy, right? I never like to use the word easy, but a lot of what you need to do in it is simple. It does require work, it does require effort. The hardest part for many people is kind of like just like you talked about, is doing the sales, doing the outreach, having those conversations to
Yeah.
go ahead and land that deal. So like when it came to like the scripts and the templates, like was that what you felt like helped you the most, or do you feel like it was the coaching? Like where do you think, especially within that sales side of things, that you got the most help that you needed?
There's a couple things. The templates, definitely one. And
Mhm.
then, I would customize them by just if there were local businesses here, I would say, hey, I went to your place the other day. I love the food. I talked to this server. So I would customize the messages and
Mhm.
then sending them to you like in a personal DM so you can review it. And then also in calls when we would, you would ask, okay, does anyone need me to review your work or a message? So, the personal DM, like the DMs that you're so quick to respond and available.
Mhm.
And then also the meetings with the whole group.
I'm glad. I mean, and that's why like we try to, especially with like the group goals, like we like to try to like customize them to like the people who are there. Because bottom line, what we want to do is make sure the people who are actively trying and really putting forward their best effort can get that help and move forward towards getting that first deal as fast as humanly possible, right? Because especially, when it comes down to the sales side of things, having the ability to have somebody, because like I mean, me, I'm obviously not here to toot my own horn, but I've done well over six figures in sales since being in social media marketing now going on what now going 4 or 5 years, right? Having somebody who knows a little bit more about it and seeing like all the crazy responses that you get, the excuses, the objection to
Yeah.
work, it's like how like with the objections, like handling that, has that changed a lot for you, or understanding how to deal with them, has that changed a lot for you?
Yeah, it has
Mhm.
because at first you don't know what to expect from these people. So when or sometimes you get nervous and let's say they haven't even given you a number yet. Let's say you're talking about numbers now.
Yeah.
You're at that point and they're not responding. And then sometimes I would be like, oh, well, maybe I should lower it because they're not responding, and I really want them. But I'm already setting myself low. Like I have to wait for them to respond. So I don't know if I answered your question, but just
No, I mean, you absolutely did. Again, I think no matter what, right, especially with the help that we give, there's a million different situations that you can run into in sales. And like, while I usually like to say that like all conversations are different, they're also very much the same, right?
Mhm.
So even as you handle more of those repetitions of, oh, this guy came at me with this excuse, or maybe he wanted to change up and negotiate to this number, right? Over time, you get better and better at handling that with not only the experience, but then also being able to like drop questions to us in the chat or getting onto the group calls, etc. And I guess like that would be a good thing to talk about. Since joining the program, how
Mhm.
many clients have you landed and how much you made from
Some of them are have been like stuck with me, and then others
them?
like come and go.
Of
Like
course.
they request services at certain times. So
Sure.
maybe like 10 solid ones.
Okay.
And then how much I made a month? Or
How much have you made with those clients in total?
oh Lord. Like a little over 100 grand.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
And like for most of these clients that you're working with, generally speaking, what services are you providing? Is it like just like paid ads? Is it some content? Like what are you doing for them?
yeah, a lot of it has been organic social media
Okay.
and then SEO. So
Okay.
like Google rankings, helping them rank higher on Google.
Mhm.
What other? And then like YouTube, a lot of YouTube optimizing.
Okay.
So I've
So
been,
a lot on the content side then, which is really,
yeah.
really, really important to talk about because like one of the primary things we do teach about inside of the program is the paid ad side of things, right? Being able to do Facebook and Google ads for everybody because for the most part, that is a service that pretty much everybody can benefit from in terms of a business, right? But I think one of the big things that most people do leave out or don't talk about enough, and it is something we do talk about in the program quite often, is the organic side of things, right? Because before paid ads can really be a thing, right? You need to make sure that you have your social media primed and prepped. Otherwise, you're just burning money, right? Because like how
Yeah.
many situations just working with clients have you had where they've come to you with like some horror stories, like, oh yeah, like I spent thousands of dollars on this and it didn't work, and I tried posting content myself and like I couldn't get any likes, couldn't get any follows.
Yeah.
How many times have you run into that?
Yeah, my first client, I told him he wanted social media and I wanted to be clear. I'm like, do you want paid social media or just organic? And he's
Yeah.
like, oh no, just organic. I've tried paying Facebook, Instagram. They just take my money. I'm like, okay, well, we'll start with organic. I didn't, want to argue with him because
Sure.
I looked at his social media profiles and there was no posting. So no way I'm going to offer you social media ads
Yeah.
when I know you need to build your organic first,
Mhm.
or else it's just going to look sketchy. Like putting out
100%.
ads and you have nothing like organic to show.
100%. Like they work in harmony. It's a circle, right?
Mhm.
You need the organic to make the social media ads actually be beneficial to the business. But if the social media doesn't have ads going, then the organic doesn't continue to grow too. It's a very vicious cycle, but you do need both, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like you've been able to really knock that out for your clients, which is again super awesome. And I mean, just hearing this now as what you're talking about with how much you've done since joining the program, sounds like I need to send you another plaque because you already
Yeah.
got a 10K plaque. But now you need a 100K plaque.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go put that in with Renee today and make sure. shipped out to you. We need to get you updated. That's pretty damn awesome. I like that. And I guess now, back to the point on clients, right? Because I'm sure, but as you transitioned out of working for the agency, you were doing this a little bit on your own before you found us. How do you feel like things have changed for you, or how have you changed your approach to not only landing clients, but like working with clients since joining the program?
Setting a lot of boundaries.
Hmm.
At first, I was just, okay, yes, yes, yes to everything.
Yeah.
And then I realized I can't say yes to everything. I'm going to be unhappy. The
Mhm.
client's going to be unhappy because then I can't fulfill what they want. And I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
I had this one, oh my God, this horrible person. I didn't even land the client. I literally spent 10 hours on this person and didn't
Yeah.
even land them. And
Mhm.
it's just because I was like, yes, I'll go meet with you. Yes, I'll write you a proposal. And she would never give me a budget. And
Yeah.
that, like, this is what I mean by you need to like communicate with them. And it was miserable.
It's tough. It's tough. And like I think, that is an important part about growing, just not even just as a marketer, but as like a business person, right? Is knowing how to handle all the different complicated situations that come with, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, I know we went back and forth and I know which one you're talking about, particularly
Hmm.
for quite a while. It's like, well, they're talking about they want to meet over here today, but then they're still dragging their feet on this and they won't give me an answer on that. There's just some people that at the end of the day, they're going to be almost too complicated and they get in the way of their own success, right? And so knowing when and where to really dedicate your time and effort is important, right? And
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to kind of point you in the right direction on that and make sure you're not burning your tires so much going forward on that, because that
Yeah.
is a bit crazy. But speaking of that though too, I mean, you're not the only one that has ever run into those things, and we hear about that a lot in the group. So how has being around a group of other people doing all the same things like been beneficial? Because I feel like that's a big problem for a lot of people getting into the entrepreneur space. Never mind just social media marketing, just that many people are stuck with other folks around them who are like 9 to 5 life, gonna go ahead and do my 40
Yeah.
hours, pay my bills, go home, relax. So like what has it been like being around other people in the group who are all doing the same things as you and have the same kind of goals?
It's been very beneficial because, like, let's say I'm doing a reel for a client and I want feedback.
Mm,
A lot of people chime in.
mm,
And then you're also hearing like their success stories, even if it's small wins. Like
mm,
even if I hear someone say, "Oh, I landed a
mm.
$500 client," like that makes me happy. And it's like, okay, there's money to be made out here. Even
100%.
with the calling a business and they landed $500 a month or whatever the amount is, but it works. It works. You call, you reach out, or you walk in person, and you never know. Like there's money out here.
100%. Like, I think the cool thing that being in a group of other people like that does is number one, it adds some tangibility, some reality to it. Because a
Yeah.
lot of people see the online space and like, oh, people aren't really making money like that, right? But they are, right?
Hmm.
You're one of them. There's dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of them in the group, right? And I think some people just kind of need to see that spark from somebody else and be able to just even just talk to them about like, hey, like, what did you do? Like,
Yeah,
when
exactly.
you closed them, like, did you say this or like, how did that whole process go? I think being able to bounce that off other people is just pretty invaluable, right?
Yeah, a couple
Oh.
months ago, I added in the chat that I landed a client and I
Mm.
had 3 or 4 other students DM me privately. And one person was saying, "Oh, I'm, working with the same type of client. What did you write?" And I literally just sent her the
Mhm.
proposal I sent the client. Because
Networking.
that's the thing too. You can't think this is like we're competing with each other. Like there's so many businesses out there you can reach to
Mhm.
that you can't be jealous if someone landed a client or and this
Yeah.
group is not like that. Everyone is very supportive and no one's in competition.
Well, yeah, and like the beautiful thing about it with social media marketing, I know like Renee talks about it a lot, is that I mean, just on average in the United States alone, there's well over 600,000 new businesses every single year. So I mean, there could be thousands and thousands and thousands of new marketers every single day. And bottom line, you're still gonna have work. There's plenty of money out there, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna run into a situation where they're gonna really cross wires like that and end up competing. And I think that's the one thing that we really do stress inside the group is there's enough food out there for everybody. Really.
Exactly.
Because if there's, I think the number from the presentation Renee talks about, it's like 600 or 700 like $1 billion estimated that's going to be in the market for social media marketing over the next 3, 4 years. Even if you get a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percentage of that, you're making 6, 7 figures, right? So it's been really awesome to kind of see how people have been able to grow with that. So on that note, like what has been your favorite part of being in the program? Like what do you think has kind of been the most beneficial thing to you? Is it just having the coaching access? Is it like the videos and the templates? Like where do you think like it's helped you?
I really like the group setting,
Mhm.
especially when when we're on the calls with you, we're doing like scripted acts, I guess.
Role plays.
Role plays, there we go, that's the word. Role
Mhm.
plays, that's very beneficial. And then when we're with Danny, he'll talk about new things. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even catch on to that update.
Mhm.
So with this industry, there's something new every day. So you have to keep up with the trends.
Mhm.
So being on these group meetings, you're able to catch up and learn.
Yeah.
So
100%. I mean, Danny is awesome to have on the team because he is such a big meta expert. And like we know without saying who exactly he works for, he works for very, very, very big $100 million, almost $1 billion companies. So having him on the team to be able to talk about the different things that could be going on with meta, or like I think I remember one time specifically with you, he was helping you dive through a problem you had with like a client ad account,
like a
getting
business
access.
profile or something.
Yeah.
Meta's horrible. So you need someone to guide you, or else you'll lose your mind.
I mean, believe me, I get it. Mark Zuckerberg has made a really great platform in some ways, and then in others, you're just like, how is this $1 billion company and what's going
How?
on?
It doesn't make sense.
I think, yeah, having the ability to have that at your guys' disposal, I think is super beneficial. That's why we brought Danny onto the team, be able to add that extra layer of like Facebook ads, Google ads support for you. That way, you can't get lost in the sauce on it. You're always moving forward. So, I guess on a closing note, in your opinion, since you've been in the program now, who do you think this program is best for? Right? Like, who do you think, as far as like interest in getting into business or entrepreneurship or marketing even as a whole, who do you think this fits the best? Who do you think who this will help the most?
Someone who is not only wants to make money, without a boss, like be
Mhm.
their own boss, but you have to be passionate about it. Like just simple things, like maybe you think creating a reel it'll take you 20 minutes,
Mhm.
but sometimes you have to be very creative and you have to have that passion. And even if it's finding the perfect song for the reel, sometimes that will take me 30 minutes, but maybe that's just me because I try to be perfect.
Mhm.
But yeah, someone who's definitely passionate about the social media
I
and wants to
agree.
get on their own.
I agree because I think just in the time span that I've been involved in, like just entrepreneurship or just being an online as a whole, which is the last 5 to 8 years now, I've seen a gigantic rise of people wanting to go ahead and do their own things, and that's because technology has pretty much leveled the playing field. Right? Especially when you talk about content, right? With content, it used to be that only people in like Hollywood with these big old fancy cameras can make all these crazy edited up videos with all these different transitions and these cool effects. Now you can do that all with an iPhone. Okay.
Oh,
It's crazy what you can accomplish with just a phone in your hand, right? And I think our program does a lot to help people with that. But I think anybody interested in entrepreneurship just needs to take the time out to start continually adding to their brain, learning as much as humanly
yeah.
possible. Because the more you add to it, the more money you can make. And I mean, just like you said, I mean, you've made well over 100 grand since being in the program, which is awesome. And again,
Mhm.
notating that to Renee so we get you your plaque this week. I think again, you hit it right on the head. You have to be passionate about it. You have to want it, right? Business and money, it doesn't fall from the sky. But I think you're a perfect example, Miss Karen, that if you're willing to work for it, you put in the time and the effort, it knocks it out cool.
Exactly.
I
Yep.
like I like it. So on that note, Miss Karen, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to sit down with us. Keep knocking it out. Keep growing. I am going to get you your plaque, okay? Because that's pretty
Thank
damn
you.
cool. And then other than that, I hope you enjoy a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.